Today, I am showing you guys how to recreate Deacon's bike from the game's Prologue. Now, there is a very major story spoiler warning because we are going to basically spoil a few parts of the story. Now, this entire thing can be recreated on both PlayStation and PC. Now, these mirrors are a whole different story, and I'm gonna leave that until the end of the video. However, the rest of the bike completely possible on both platforms. There may be a tiny chance that the mirrors are also possible on PlayStation. Again, I'm only going to get into that toward the end of the video. Okay, so the first thing we need to do is before we even touch the main game, we have to go to Horde Assault mode, and what you need to do is you see each of these regions has a certain target score, and we need to basically play this mode until we hit the target score in each region. And this is where the first sort of spoiler comes in, because these two regions, Lost Lake and Crater Lake, are unlocked later in the game, and they are considered major spoilers. Now, this is called the reputation phase, which I have unlocked, which relocks the regions, but if you've never touched Horde Assault, what you're gonna end up with is basically you're gonna have to hit the target score in every region, and that will give you the rewards in form of injectors. But if we go to reputation, we have Sarah's fuel tank and these saddlebags and the growler. Now, Sarah's fuel tank is what's gonna unlock once you beat the target score in each region once, and when you've done all 4 regions, you unlock the reputation phase, and you unlock Sarah's fuel tank, and it can be equipped in the main story at any encampment mechanic. Well, the ones that where you can modify your bike. So there's only 3 of these in the entire game, so Copeland's Camp, Lost Lake, and Diamond Lake. Now let's get back to the main game. So here we are in the main game at Copeland's Camp, and I have the standard bike because I'm going to show you exactly how to transform it into the Prologue bike. And so what we need is to reach Trust Level 3 at Copeland's Camp. We also need Trust Level 2 at Lost Lake and at Diamond Lake. Now, these two are fairly straightforward, but Copeland's Camp is a little more tricky because you are required to reach Trust Level 3, which can be a little bit tougher, and there are 2 ways which you can do that. The first one is to basically give the drugs to Copeland instead of Tucker, and then basically every horde you kill in the Cascade region, you have to turn in all of the ears at Copeland's Camp, and it might also help turn in the ears for the Belknap region to Copeland's Camp. That will make it more easy to get to Trust Level 3, but let's say you went with the path of giving the drugs back to Tucker, and then you would sell all of the ears to Tucker's camp, including the ones from the hordes in the Cascade region. And yeah, then basically you kind of have to wait until the end of the game, because you require to kill every horde in Cascade, clear every infestation zone, every ambush camp and Nero checkpoint, and also complete all of the encampment jobs. Now, the very 6th encampment job is a main story mission, and it doesn't unlock until the very end of the game, and it is called Nose Down the Fijia. It is the one where we head to this Marauder camp and rescue Manny, and it's only after you finish all 6 encampment jobs, as well as clearing everything that I just mentioned, is when you unlock Trust Level 3 at Copeland's Camp. So now let's get to the parts that we need from Manny.
Yeah, got some good stuff in stock.
And we need engine 1, and that is the engine that you can see here with the filter. And we don't need the exhaust because he only has exhaust 1. We need exhaust 2, and that is acquired from Lost Lake Camp. Storage, nothing here. the fuel tank. Now that you have completed the first 4 challenges in Horde Assault, you should have Sarah's fuel tank absolutely for free. You can pick it up at any encampment. So yeah. And now for frame, this is why we require trust level 3. We need alternate frame 1, and that is only unlocked at trust level 3 at this camp. As for rear suspension, Manny doesn't sell any. We need nitrous 1. And nothing in tires, nothing in forks or radiator. And for visual, we need exhaust tip number 1. You get this here from Manny. And nothing else. So now let's move on to Lost Lake. So here we are at Lost Lake Camp. And getting trust level 2 at Iron Mike's is fairly straightforward. It is a combination of completing main story missions, clearing out ambush camps, infestation zones, hordes, and Nero checkpoints. So yeah, it is fairly straightforward, and do make sure you complete some of the encampment jobs, but we only need trust 2 and not trust 3. So
Good to see you, Deke.
here we
How's
are
it going, Buzz?
at Buzz. So what we need is exhaust number 2. We need saddlebags 2. We do not need rear suspension. Deke's bike does not actually have rear suspension, nothing in tires, but we do need the fork. And the radiator isn't from Lost Lake. So in visual, no headlight, no wheels, no exhaust tip, but we do need brakes 1. And the way that you can tell that brakes 1 are the ones on Deacon's bike and not brakes 2 is if you look at the very center of the brake disc. Brake 2 has this star-shaped looking metal piece versus this brake, which has this sort of fan looking thing. So yeah. And nothing in fender and nothing in shroud.
Hello?
And now we can move on to our final encampment, and that is Diamond Lake Camp. So here we are at Diamond Lake Camp. Now, in order to actually achieve trust level 2 at Diamond Lake Camp, what you are required to do is clear the Highway 97 region of the game. Now, you might think that it's the Crater Lake region of the game that you need to clear, but that is actually false. The Crater Lake region gives you trust and credits for Wizard Island, and Wizard Island does not sell bike parts. They do sell weapons, though. However, anything for Diamond Lake, you are required to clear out the Highway 97 region. So this is one of the hordes, and as you can see, clearing it will give us 1650 trust points for Diamond Lake. Now, there are also crier nests all over Highway 97 and the Crater Lake region. There's 4 areas in Crater Lake and 4 areas in Highway 97, totaling 42 nests that we have to burn, and all of these nests will give you trust points for Diamond Lake. Now, as for the encampment jobs, as you can see, when I'm hovering over the Crater Lake region, in the bottom left it says there are 13 encampment jobs. But if I hover over Highway 97, it does not say anything about encampment jobs. So these 13 are actually a combination of both the ones at Wizard Island and Diamond Lake, and you have to do both to unlock encampment jobs at either camp. And yeah, the ones that start at Diamond Lake will give you trust and credits for that camp, and the ones that start at Wizard Island will give you trust and credits for that camp. Now, doing a few story missions, as well as clearing the entire Highway 97 region will get you trust level 2. However, if you don't do any story missions, you still can get to trust level 2 by clearing all of the crier nests. I have showed this before in my survival core series. I will link that in the description for anybody who would like to check it out. So now let's actually get to the parts. And one thing I really like to put an emphasis on is at Diamond Lake, credits are much harder to come by, so do not ever refuel and repair the bike at this camp. There's fuel close by right outside the camp at the Lost Cabin Mine. And yeah, also don't refill your ammo either, so I wouldn't waste time buying anything from the weapon merchant. And I would waste all of my credits basically buying parts for the bike. And don't forget, when you clear all the hordes in Highway 97, just sell all the ears to the bounty collector at Diamond Lake. So what we need is the tires. We need tire number 3. We also need the radiator.
How you doing there?
And under visual, we need headlight number 5, wheel number 4. We don't need any handlebars. You can actually purchase handlebar 1 from Lost Lake, but we don't need it. The bike does not have the handlebar mod. And as for front fender, we need fender number 3. And finally, shroud 2. Now as for paint, keep everything standard and default base and no decals. And now, this should be the entire bike recreated. And now you can enjoy it.
All right then.
But now let's get to the more complicated subject, and that is the side mirrors. Now the side mirrors are not available anywhere in the main game to install on your bike, which is why we need to install a mod, and I'm going to show you how to install it in 1 second. Now I did mention earlier how this can be possible on PlayStation. However, I don't know how to do that. I have heard from another YouTuber named Mr. Dutchy-Dutch that you can mod the PlayStation version, and this is me shouting him out as well as encouraging him to make his own version of this video, showing how we could potentially get the side mirrors mod to work with the PlayStation 4 version. Maybe you can use the same files we use on PC to do that, or maybe it's entirely different. However, I do not know how to mod the PlayStation version, so I'm going to show you how we modded the PC version in order to get the mirrors. So here is the mod that we want to download. I will leave a link to it in the description. We are on Nexus Mods. This mod is called Sarah's Gas Tank. It is by iMaverick, and what it does is it replaces the Death Stranding fuel tank with Sarah's fuel tank. Now there was a side mirrors mod back in the OG version, but that does break the game. Basically it gives you the side mirrors, but it breaks the Sarah's gas tank, the one that we unlock from Horde Assault. I will insert that clip right now. However, this mod adds the side mirrors as well as Sarah's fuel tank. Now if we go to the files, we get the main files. Now this one just replaces the Death Stranding fuel tank with one called I Remember, which is Sarah's gas tank. And these are the versions for the remaster. This is just the regular version of the mod. And yeah, we want this version of the mod, and in order to get it, just hit on manual download and then click on slow download. It should download up here, and you can find it wherever you choose to have your download folder. It is a very small mod, only 40 kilobytes. And the way you install the mod, so what we need to do is find a hidden folder. Now to do that, we hit on our keyboard Windows key plus R and we open the run command, and we want to type %local app data %, and then we hit enter, and this should take us to our user, a hidden folder in the C drive under app data local. Now we want to find a folder called bend game, and inside of it is a folder named saved. Once we enter this folder, this PAX folder right here will not be present. You won't find it. You have to make a new folder, name it this, and then enter this folder and copy your mod into this folder. But that is not everything that we are required to do. If you only do that, the mod will not work. So what we want to do is go back out and find our drive where we chose to install the game. And if you don't know where you installed your game, just open up Steam. If I go to Days Gone, if we go to Manage, we go to Browse Local Files, it'll take you instantly to where the game is located. And if you do know which drive you installed the game to, all you have to do is go to that drive, go to a folder called Steam Library, under Steam Apps, Common, and you will find the name of the game, Days Gone, and we want to enter the folder called Bend Game, and under the folder called Content, we have a folder called SF Packs, just like this with one less S at the end. And what you want to do is just rename this folder to anything. It is highly recommended on most mods on Nexus mods. It will basically tell you in the description what you have to do. As you can see here, it says go to local app data, bent game, saved, and create a new folder, name it packs with a capital P, and then go to your game installation folder, bend game content, and rename the folder SF Packs to SF Packs with an extra S. Yeah, so that's how most mods work in Days Gone, but not all of them, so just make sure to double check the description of each mod. Now, any reshades that you might want to install in the future are a little bit different and they won't have a description on how to do that. So let's get back to our content folder. There is one extra step. It is not necessary for this mod, but I keep doing it as an extra bit of safety. You will see at the very bottom of the SF Packs folder that we just renamed, there is a pack file named Startup Packages. You just have to rename it and add underscore mods enabled, all lowercase, before the .pack. So make sure it looks exactly like this and the mod should start to work. And after you install each mod, just make sure to open up the game and double check that the game is working properly. And yeah, do this mod by mod if you have a lot of mods, so that you know exactly which mod is giving you any issues that you might be facing. Now, one more thing I forgot to mention is that if you get a game update, your mods may stop working. What you need to do is go back to your main game directory. So remember this folder called SF Packs that we renamed? You will find another folder right above it that's the exact same folder but more updated and not renamed. All you have to do is just delete the folder that we renamed and then rename the new folder so you don't lose any of the patches that came with the update. And that way, when you rename it, your mods should work again properly. Now, if you do end up reloading the game and the mods don't work properly, then in that case, you have to go back to Nexus Mods and check if the mod has an update. Otherwise, you won't be able to run the mod, which is an unfortunate thing. You'll have to wait for the mod maker to update it. So yeah, but in the case of this mod, I downloaded it during patch 1.12. We are on 1.13 now, and I just fixed this folder, deleted the old one, renamed the new one, and don't forget to go back to startup packages and add underscore mods enabled, and the mod works fine. So here it is in the game, and we can see fully that we have Deacon's Prologue bike
Hey, Deke.
fully in the game.
What's up, Lucas?
Now, I really hope you guys enjoyed. That is it for today. If you enjoyed, leave a like, hit subscribe to support the channel, leave your thoughts in the comments, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you never miss another upload. I want to thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next episode. Until then, this has been G, signing out. Peace.